Fruit.
I like it.
Yeah. Elder Treant is as well, low-hanging fruit for Cloud9. They're going to take that one away, and Von C didn't have an impact whatsoever on the Kestrel last game, it seemed, but picking it up again against Joseph's. I just can't, Koshka, he just can't believe it. I can't believe he got this pick, and it's something that we both talked about with being such a high priority for Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a high priority for them. And, you know, Von C perhaps just say, we need another shot at this Kestrel. Just go ahead, let me pick it up. Last game, it wasn't what I wanted it to be. Let's make a cleaner run. Now, once again, we're going to start looking that Fortress is level 2, Joseph's level 3. They're going to probably start looking for some dual invades again. There isn't a lyre to really stop a lot of these Truth of the Tooth and Pouncy fun options for them. But with Arden going back, they do concede their Tribush here.
Okay, Vizslav's off to the side. After Camera Trap, it's actually going to stun up 2 members of Cloud9. Von C already doing a fairly good job of just dissuading the gank onto Best Chuck. But Joseph, he's always looking for these advantages, and Gabe Vizzle's done a fantastic job of facilitating that as well. Already pushing into TSM's jungle, and Von C just looks scared to kind of touch them right now. Obviously, early game Kestrel against someone like this Koshka doesn't work out so well.
Yeah, they make the call to just bail completely and go to lane, but thankfully, because Old School does have, well, in that case, maybe out of the fray, he does get to safety. But I like this rotation from Old School because his jungle is going to be able to double invade and steal their backs. He's actually going to take some for himself, or try to at least. Von C doesn't quite line it up.
Spotted out Von C into the fray. Von C caught out completely. He's going to try and run, but he can't. Cloud9 secure first blood in this potential final game. TSM, that's not where you wanted to be.
Yeah, this is actually a brilliant rotation coming from Cloud9. They don't even stop to take the mid Treant on the side of TSM. They say, if Kestrel's going to invade, we're going to make sure we catch her, get that first blood kill, then we can go back and get the Treant, which is exactly what Joseph has done.
Joseph, though, might be in a little bit of trouble. Von C wants a little bit of payback, hitting a couple of those glimmer shots, but he's going to be able to walk away nonetheless. Flash X hasn't really got too much in his kit to kind of chase after someone like a Koshka, so he's going to be nice and safe.
Yeah, and Joseph did get the Elder there before he did his invade, so some experience gains here from him. Just a little bit over Von C, going back and shopping here pretty soon. Going to give a little bit of power over, but once again, nothing major. Old School actually building the Poison Shiv first item, trying to cut down on a lot of these barriers we're going to see coming in really soon for TSM in these team fights. I like the pickup, actually. It's going to be something that's going to allow him to also have a lot of sustain in the lane, and I expect we'll see something similar maybe from Best Chuck when he gets the Serpent Mask. So these team fights, when they break out, they're going to be pretty insane between these melee laners.
I mean, one thing about melee laners, we know SK Gaming, for example, over in Europe, do pay a lot of melee, and Kvalifar being, Kvalifar being one of them, on the Rona. We've seen it time and time again. I kind of wonder if Cloud9 have seen the VODs and we're like, oh, okay, actually, I quite like the Rona.
Well, it's good, right? So melee laners have actually stepped up in terms of Blackfeather and Rona just because of their ability to stay alive around this Poison Shiv.
Nice little interrupt there from Cloud9. They will just interrupt Best Check and A from farming, but I love Joseph taking a fair bit of damage. On point actually missing there. Twirly Death to pick up the rest of the minions. Didn't want to go out empty-handed, as they do end up backing off.
Everyone's snaking around there, trying to avoid any potential skill shots. Glimmer shots not really hitting. On point getting missed means they get out a little healthier. That's more pressure coming on. Well,
speaking out, we're getting out of healthier. Best Jakane is not doing so well. He's getting jumped on time and time again. Every single time they got cooldowns up, Truth of the Tooth just straight on into Best Chuck, just making sure he can feel the pressure of this last game, potential last game.
Well, the thing is like with the sustain coming from Barbed Needle on Best Chuck and the Poison Shiv on Rona, they're able to do a lot of these trades because it doesn't really matter. They just end up last hitting the minions, which gives over a lot of health. And specifically more health if you happen to be a melee hero. So I like the fact that they're going for trades. They're being a little cheeky, just trying to put some pressure on because they know they're safe on both sides. But Joseph now hitting level 6. This is a big power spike for them. He's looking to buy an Aftershock, but doesn't quite have the gold yet. He's actually going for a little defense, which means he probably wants to try to survive. And I like that itemization. If you're going to be using Yummy Catnip Frenzy, you want a little more defense before you dive in, just so you stay alive a little bit longer here.
One shot, one kill is going to find Old School, but That's going to be really about it for Vonsi. Big cooldown in the early game, about 55 seconds. Flash X is going to be here as well. No level 6 from him, no Gauntlet available, and no Rose offensive from Best Chuck. Not in pure fighting position, fighting mode yet, but all I can see from Cloud9 now, they've got this all-in potential because they have the Yummy Catnip Frenzy. Oh, that was almost cruel. Joseph almost stealing that one away.
Yeah, he jumped on it, but nothing there at the end for those claws to sink into. So Vonsi, once again, he's taking his farm, he's securing a lot of things in the jungle, but this CP Kestrel, it really is meant to be putting on a little bit more pressure throughout the early game, going into mid, trying to look for some leads, and Vonsi just not having a lot of presence quite yet. It's a little bit due to the fact that the wave clear potential from Best Chuck is pretty low. They can really only farm the wave kind of one minion at a time with a little bit of AoE damage, so that's one reason why we're seeing the lane kind of stall out always around this 50. Rona, Black Feather, not the best wave clear through the early game, but some plays to be made here soon as level 6s come online for just about everyone.
Yep, speaking of level 6, Red Mist is used, one shot, one kill as well. Best Chuck and Flash X just diving in. Attack of the Pack's actually going to get popped. It's going to chase TSM underneath their turret, but more use as a dissuasive tool at this point as they do end up backing off with Best Chuck and A. They could Gauntlet indeed. Flash X maybe looking for it off to the side here. Gaviz is actually going really low. Gauntlet does come down, separates one, but Gaviz is core. Red Mist is going to tear them all up, but Gaviz stays alive somehow, popping actually that fountain of Best Chuck and A, taking a lot of damage in that trade.
But Flash S didn't have to pop his fountain, but Vonsi wasn't actually in position to do damage when the gauntlet went down. A little bit of miscommunication, Vonsi staying too far back. They could have probably gotten more, but both teams still make it out fairly well. Hey!
Oh, hang on a minute. Yummy Catnip Frenzy on the back line. Vonsi in a lot of trouble. Torn off by the Red Mist as well, but it's not going to matter because TSM find 2 kills. Old School, the last member alive. Best Chuck and A Rose offensive forwards in his one-on point to finish the kill. He finds it with a basic attack, and TSM, they find an ace.
They get the ace. This means first turret for TSM. The gold lead going over to them once this goes down. A tremendous swing. They needed this, especially after going 0-2 for the last couple of games. I love Joseph. They dive in on Black Feather. They go. They get the stun on Kestrel, but just not quite enough damage to kill her with that protector contract coming out in the fountain and the trap. They do just enough to stay alive. A really solid team fight hold there for TSM, and they're rewarded with the gold lead.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was going to go all south as soon as Joseph landed that Yummy Catnip Frenzy, but completely turning it around. Best Chuck and A coming up real trumps with that one. Picks up his own kill. Will accelerate his lead. Obviously, he has got Serpent's Mask online now. Same with Old School. Obviously, does have Poison Shift to his name as well. Atlas Pauldron's picked up for Gabe Vizzle in this early stage of the game as his second tier 3 item.
And we're going to be looking a lot around this gauntlet cooldown here from Flash X. Only 18 seconds left. Maybe looking to contest this gold mine here as Cloud9 backs off, and I think that's smart. So Cloud9, once again, this is kind of a story for them, right? They like to pull objectives and just see what the enemy opposition is going to do. If they go to contest, they drop the objective. If they don't contest, they just take it.
TSM rotation towards the lane now. Cloud9 haven't got a turret to hide behind, so they do end up backing off. Those glimmer shots really starting to tickle I Love Joseph. With Flash X on the side now, with Gauntlet available, is something to be scared of. And the thing is, they did a really good job of baiting it out, but just couldn't seem to capitalize on it when it was down.
Yeah, this is very true. So that major cooldown being back up means that TSM is going to be able to look to get quite a lot for it. But once again, the gold lead kind of coming down a little bit as farms going over. Most even between Best Chuck here and Old School, just a little bit ahead on CS for this Rona, but a lot of cooldowns available. Yummy Catnip Frenzy, Gauntlet, Attack of the Pack. These are things that are going to really open up the next team fight, and what we want TSM to be able to do here is really make sure this Gauntlet locks them in. C9, here we go. We're going to pull another objective. Seeing TSM in the lane means this should probably go uncontested.
Yeah, no one shot, one kill. Ooh, that was close.
That was
Glimmer
close.
shot. Almost stole that one away, but Joseph will secure it with a twirly death. That will mean a bit of extra gold in their back pocket. Actually itching ahead now. 1,000 gold lead in their pockets. But the problem is right now for TSM, I can imagine, is that they just need to be able to find these fights. And Cloud9 are just really not giving it to them easy.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, TSM's playing a bit timid. I mean, this is match point if they don't take this game. But you can't afford to let your cold lead you had slip away. Setting some...
Cannot find a kill thus far. Neither can TSM. That almost ended up with Best Chuck and A going down, but Cloud9 really just couldn't find that damage at the end.
They couldn't find the damage, but they technically come out ahead because they now get rotation priority. They're able to go into the jungle. They're able to take away the Treant, put it on Rona, get Old School back to full health. He comes and pushes this wave. Best Chuck needs to get back. This turret could go down here with him gone.
Yeah, Vonsi is on the sidelines with the active camo. Glimmershot's doing a lot of damage, but that turret is falling very, very quickly. Cloud9 will be able to take it. Old School disengages with the Into the Fray. One shot, one kill, going a little bit wide once more, and that will be a really, really big advantage for Cloud9 now, having that first tier turret down.
Yeah, C9 needs to get out of here. They need to collect their front jungle camps, or at least as much as they can, because TSM now is going to have the priority rotation. Really smart there from C9. When they went down, they took the Treant, they came back up, and they kind of just hid. They played the patient game, and when Chuck went back, they looked to go for the objective. So definitely a mistimed buy shop there for TSM. After taking that lead, they're letting objectives slip from them. TSM showing, you know, some weakness in a team that we thought perhaps would be the favorites to win the entire tournament. C9 actually showing them a bit of a better heads-up game.
Yeah, I mean, you talk to a lot of the players that, you know, aren't on these two teams and saying, okay, so who do you think is kind of strongest coming into them from each of these regions? And a lot of people are saying, you know, from NA, TSM are this team to beat, and #1 seed is kind of shows that already, right? Coming out of the VG8, just absolutely strong throughout the entire season. But now Cloud9, this super team like they were talking about on the desk, really, really giving it their all.
Yeah, FlashX just making it out there alive. They were not being spotted, but once again, these shop timings, these going continually back to base to buy, it's letting Cloud9 pick up more and more objectives. We're now seeing it 28K to 25.8, a 2,000-ish gold lead here for C9. We were just praising the initial composure of TSM being able to hold off, making the better rotation, taking the turret, having the better team fight, but then Cloud9 answers immediately, not only taking an objective, but increasing their gold lead to 2,000. This is quite a big swing for only being 13 minutes into the game.
I mean, we've got infusions once more coming across the board. Best Chuck and A picked up one a little bit earlier, has got that in his inventory. And one thing I want to point out as well, Gabe Vizzle and FlashX instantly prioritizing these war treads to be able to engage in the fight. We normally do see it on Arda just to be able to get those clutch gauntlets as soon as you pop them and getting your team into position, but Gabe Vizzle with his own just leaves TSM a little bit of a hankering for kind of mobility, because Old School, as soon as he spots someone out of position, into the fray, red mist, and they're good as dead.
Yeah, this Rona and this Fortress, I mean, it's really shutting down the mentality of Vonsi right now. He's just not being able to make any plays. Like, he's basically just on defensive duty. You know, TSM looking for a little bit here. They do have War Treads, they do have Gauntlet up and Infusions up, so they might try to go for something. Both teams kind of playing the chicken game.
Well, both teams with Infusions. War Tread's going to get popped by Gabe Vizzle here. They're going to try and just focus Best Chuck and A. Massive frenzy from Vonsi. No, but he gives him with the glimmer shots. One shot, one kill to secure the kill as well. That gauntlet was perfect. Red mist onto 2 people. Make that 3, but he's not going to be able to survive.
Can he get out?
3 to get out, but FlashX and Best Chuck and A are just going to push forward. That active camo from Vonsi was massive.
I just got finished saying, Vonsi, where have you been in this game? And he answers right here. Fuji, I drop the trap, I get the triple stun, I do so much damage, see, look what I can do. That's when they needed him. Vonsi finally came in, made the clutch play. On this engage, he's just setting up multiple traps, staying on the back line. The focus was on Blackfeather there, but as they try to get, look at that damage coming out of the active camouflage trap, the one-shot taking out Fortress. This was a disaster for C9, a little forced perhaps, chasing them so close to that turret.
Yeah, FlashX with the clutch gauntlet as well, just keeping them all in one tight-knit place. And Vonsi really took advantage of that, has got way more impact than he did in the first game he played the Kestrel. And one thing I want to touch on as well is the fact that Best Chuck and A just kind of not left alone, but just kind of left to the side to do his own kind of thing, and he jumps onto the back line. Well, I say back line, is more of a front line with C9's composition, but kind of jumping on these squishy members like Joseph and left completely alone to do the damage because they're all putting their all into Vonsi.
Yeah, early on I talked about the fact that the combination of Kestrel Arden when she's weapon is pretty volatile, but well, we might actually be positioning for a fight here. But okay, so C9's taking control of the laneway, forcing TSM to come out of the jungle. They don't want to fight north to south ideally, so they're going to make this rotation come around.
Well, FlashX does have Gauntlet available to him, does Vanguard onto Best Chuck and A for the movement speed and the shield. One shot, one kill is going to go a little bit wide. Cloud9 will be able to rotate now, being spotted out by the Scout Trap and the Flare. So they have that priority in the lane, now kind of giving it over. 16 minutes on the clock, Kraken is on the board, and TSM, they can find these fights that Von-C can just propel in with the active camo traps. It just goes all too well for them.
Yeah, it's definitely something TSM wants to do, is they want to walk forward. They want to try to encourage an engage from C9 while all of their minds are thinking about it, because what happens then is they're able to use the War Treads, they're able to use the Gauntlet for the disengage, set up some camos on the ground, these traps, a kind of a zone of control, because it is triple melee. There is no doing damage unless you're on top of the enemy, and that's that combination we talked about with Arden and Kestrel.
Well, they're going to go in again. Best Chuck and A was on the front line, does get vanguarded to safety. FlashX not blowing the gauntlet just yet. Not willing to actually commit that one. Needs to wait for this re-engage, I think, for Cloud9. Both of the teams are flared out, so they exactly know where they are. FlashX stepping a little bit forward, just kind of baiting Old School and I Love Joseph to jump on, and they're more the wise, I think, to actually just go straight head on into TSM right now.
We're playing a little bit of a game of Russian roulette, trying to call each other out, see who actually takes the final spin in the chamber, but no one's willing to pull the trigger here because it's dangerous. You don't know what might happen if you do. C9 kind of pushing forward, but you notice what happens as soon as they try to go in a little bit, they notice Kestrel drops the trap, and getting caught up in that is just too much damage to take. Best Chuck and A able to dive in once that initial burst comes down and deletes someone. He's got the tension bow too.
Ooh, Von-C. Another few glimmer shots and a one shot, one kill to follow. On point, not quite reaching, but Joseph, again, just taking a lot of damage in this front line. And like you said, 3 melees for Cloud9. You do have to be up in their grill, and that's exactly what TSM are not letting them do.
And the other issue when you have a triple melee composition is your siege potential is poor. So, well, TSM going down, making sure Cloud9 can't get this Kraken.
Oh, they're going to jump onto Best Chuck and A. Now they're separated. Gauntlet comes down. FlashX from the side. Red Mist onto FlashX only. Here comes the active camo trace from Von-C. Can he get anything? They're all lined up here, but it's not going to matter. They just take FlashX out of the fight already. Double stun from the Gauntlet is going to be pretty
the stun!
Big. There comes the active camo
the others!
The 2 stuns in a row. Old School still melting him though. Will he be able to find the kill? He does.
Old School!
No worries. Old School just comes up massive and takes out Von-C.
This is so important because Best Chuck can't actually take Kraken by himself, but he needs to be careful here. Giving an ace over means that we can easily push the wave in, go towards the choke turret. Death timers are a bit long, but Gabe Vizzle is going to get out. He doesn't want to risk dying to Best Chuck. Von-C doing so much damage, allowing for a lot of cleanup. In that specific team fight, they had so much time inside of the gauntlet. No one actually calling from Cloud9 to leave it, just going for the kill on FlashX, but that gave a lot of time for Von-C to set up traps to get those glimmer shots off. He does have a Broken Myth as well, and Eve and Frostburn, so he's going to be doing quite a bit of damage in these late game team fights with the sustain. Cloud9, you have to execute these fights perfectly. The win condition is much harder for C9 than it is TSM.
And it's proving just that. 8-4 right now. There's 1 less turret for Cloud9 as well. Only 3 left on the board. It's going to be pretty big for TSM. If they can win this next fight, that will guarantee them a Kraken as well. We're heading up to this 20-minute mark. Infusions across the board for both sides. And it's really all about this last team fight. Best Chuck actually a little bit too far forward, maybe. And in fact, Von-C is just going to spot them out with a one-shot, one kill. FlashX is going to be on the sidelines as well, so no fight thus far.
Yeah, they're just going to back up, make sure infusions are on everyone, each team kind of going around. Old School's looking to get in there, but see, they see these traps go down. They have to be careful about diving in. Von-C's staying so far back because he gets instantly deleted if Fortress and Rona are able to get on top of him.
He hasn't. Well, he has got the reflex box available to him. No boots, though, for their extra mobility. And like you said, playing so far back is not exactly what Cloud9 want. 414 damage with the one-shot, one kill. This is just going to force Joseph back now. And in fact, 2v3 situation in the lane now. Attack of the pack is going to get popped. Joseph is here. Gauntlet goes down. Gabe Vizzle, the only member actually caught up in here, so it's not too much of an issue for him. Actually pops the Crucible to get out of that one. Doesn't want to get aggressed on by Von-C. Setting all those camo traps up. You can see them now. Really smart flare placement, though. Just spotting them out, making sure they can grab those big cooldowns from TSM before they fight.
I really think C9 should try to hold on to Attack of the Pack. Go, you guys are getting caught. You can't go back there.
Ooh, War Treads are popped from Gabe Vizzle. The rest of his team are actually just going to recall here, so Cloud9 just making a full reset.
I actually think if TSM knew that they had all went back there, they could actually look to put a little extra damage with these. They're going to stay, put some damage down, but here we go.
Well, okay, Vizzle wants a little bit of that action. Joseph's going to come through as well. Active camo trap set up once more. It's not going to hit anybody. They actually sidestepped that one really nicely. Flash X, no massive gauntlet.
Attacking the pack in 2 seconds.
The pack in 2 seconds will be up, so that's going to be Wartress spot from Flash X as well. They're just chasing them down. Flash X melting. There goes the attack of the pack. Running through the team. The stun comes big, but it's not going to matter. Best Chuck and A goes down, and that will be Cloud9 chasing Von C. Can they spot him out though? Those wolves are chasing, but they need to take these turrets out first.
They didn't actually get a chance to grab the wave though. Fortunate for TSM, there's one minion sitting on the other side of the map holding it up, so Cloud9's going to be forced to grab this Kraken. I was hitting on this earlier, but when you have triple melee, your siege is very, very poor. You can't just go up and chip down at the turret. It's an all-in kind of composition, so this Kraken is going to be important for them to push the game, but finishing the game with this Kraken, highly unlikely just due to the zone control efforts from TSM. This Kraken, what C9 is going to do, they're going to aim for 2 turrets, so they want to be able to get that choke turret down. That way they're able to close out the game on the next Kraken push, but they need to do this clean. They didn't do it too clean in the last game, so we'll have to see if they've learned from some of those mistakes.
They've got a lot of damage. They're going to be able to take that turret out without too much of a worry. That Kraken's still marching down the lane. I'm sure 1 kill is going to go between the members of Cloud9. And will mean the Kraken's going to march on this Tier 3 turret, the base turret, one of the most important ones in the game to kind of open it up. TSM doing a lot of damage to that Kraken now, though, and C9, they need to engage, they need to do it now, and that's exactly what they're doing. Double stun actually from Von C. That's big. Another active camo trap is going to get started up, but they are going to destroy that turret just in time. Actually going to go for their re-engage here, maybe jumping onto Von C is going to be their priority, but those glimmer shots and active camos are hurting so much. Cloud9 just deciding to disengage.
Yeah, this is exactly their game plan. They want to make sure when they get the 2 turrets, they just distract as long as they can, as long as it makes sense, so Kraken's able to get as much damage as possible on this turret. Once again, the same story as it's been for the last couple of games. C9 with the turret lead. TSM now down to their crystal turrets only. Cloud9 looking to take this game, showing high form, and with Joseph now sitting on BM, sitting on more piercing, the damage potential coming from C9 in these team fights is insanely high.
That piercing is going to just rip through Best Chuck, and we've got an Aegis, has got the armor as well, so it's not too much of an issue if Old School jumps on him, but with that breaking point, you can see him in the fights as soon as he gets on top of someone. Those stacks are just railing up at being a melee hero. I mean, the problem for TSM right now, yes, if they lose a fight, they do lose, but if they win the next one, they could potentially win it as well with the amount of tower damage potential they do have.
Yeah, we just got to make sure they're watching for these active camos, but here we go.
Flash X getting jumped on once more, Truth to the Tooth, right, Gabe Vizzle. Now just going to take the front away instead. Those 2 little minions didn't stand a chance. Best Chuck and A does manage to get one of them at least. Another couple of flares being picked up as well from Gabe Vizzle. 1 shot, 1 kill, and that's going to be their go button. They're going to go in, Gauntlet goes down. It's not going to matter into the fray, actually into 2 people. It's going to get blocked up though, so he's going to be able to walk through that Gauntlet without too much of a worry. That's a big cooldown.
They still have attack of the pack. They can turn right now and go in.
Attack of the pack is going to get popped. You called it, Fuji. This is exactly what they want to do. Old School on the sidelines here. Von C needs to set out some active camo traps. He's going to try. Wartress is going to get popped as well. Old School surviving through this fight. Sustaining. Flash X is going to be the target. Now it's Best Chuck and A. But no, Von C doing the damage with the glimmer shots. They find Old School. This is going to be big. Joseph is on the back line.
1 shot hits him.
1 kill finishes him off. And with TSM taking 2, they're going to march down this lane and potentially take another turret.
And Kraken is actually going to be respawning right now as well, so this is the worst timing possible for C9. They used Wartress. Flash X really in a great way timed that, did not burn it early, so they were able to create a lot of distance, but Old School not able to get on the target that he wants. Kestrel, too much free damage from behind, and Joseph kind of dodges into the 1 shot, 1 kill here, so props to Von C for finding that path. But as we go back, Kraken's going to be captured. This could be TSM's win. They actually have a Kestrel for poke. The Kraken damage from C9 is going to be low. Jaws, we're going to see a very quick, very early fight. I don't think C9 will be able to hold this unless they do.
3 turrets stand in the way of TSM taking this to game number 5. They are not out just yet. Cloud9, they've all respawned now. Old School, a couple of seconds ago, did land back on the fold. One shot, one kill is going to strike him in the side, but it will mean that turret is going to fall very rapidly. Like you said, they're going to want to go for a fight, and they want to go for it now. Twirly Def doing a lot of damage, but Gauntlet's going to come down as well. Attack of the pack did get popped with Gabe Vizzle, but it's more of a distracting technique as they try to take this Kraken down. Gabe Vizzle is stunned, but it's not going to matter all too much. That turret is going to fall. That Kraken still about 3/4 HP. Make that a half with that turret going down. Best Chuck is going to be the target. They're going to try and get on Vonsi. They need to do something. Red Mist is going to come out, but the stun was blocked. This is going to be huge. Vonsi's going to go down. Best Chuck the target, and they might just do it. Cloud9, Flash X is the only member left standing. He's going to go down. The ace buff's going to come through. They deal with the Kraken. In fact, I don't think they need to. Cloud9 are going to push towards their base and will be Gangstards in the final.
When we talk about Gabe Vizzle never missing a Crucible when it matters, that Crucible just won the game for them. That Crucible just pushed them into the final spot. Gabe Vizzle, you really are a god when it comes to your activatables. Cloud9 finally saying, we want our shot to win.
One turret down, two, and you can see the Kraken trying to race them, but I'm not sure it's gonna be enough. Cloud9, they are now technically #1 seed. TSM will go out. Gangstars, you know who your finalists are gonna be.
Oh, Jaws, this series, this was what we wanted to see. We wanted to see close games. Yes, it wasn't a best of 5, but it certainly did feel that way. Exhaustion setting in for all the players, perhaps even the casters too. So much action. C9, they show up in a big way.
They show up absolutely huge. This was the time, the super team, to come through and say, we are #1. We are not #2. We deserve this win, and we want to go to the finals. Unified Western Live Championship Finals is on the way for them. Now it's all preparation.
Yeah, it's going to be an all North American finals too. So at this